had to make a quick stop for gas because the old Camry needed a sip. Needed a quick little sip. And so when I was gone, or actually, well, what happened was the night before I was gonna leave for the UK, I'm just sitting in the fucking parking lot, and the car just fucking goes kaput. So instead of taking this one to the airport, I took my mom's car. So my dad took the Camry into the shop, got her a little tune-up. They said, they said a few things. They said the alternator was kind of, I don't know, was it I can't remember. It was like the battery, the something or other. He said the brakes were shit. So I feel like she's running smooth. Nearly at 180,000. I think this car is gonna last a good long while. But finally back. I'm sure this is a good feeling for some of you, getting back to the typical pre-lift chat in the car. Definitely feels nice for me. But it's 8:15 now. I've got an hour and 15 minutes until the gym closes. So by the time I get there, it'll be about 8:30 when I start really, probably my first working set or so, triceps. But yeah, that's all right. You know, I don't need that much time for an arm day. I might even do a little bit of a superset style, just because I don't think I'm going to go insanely heavy. I can tell I'm definitely in a little bit of a compromised state in terms of my recovery. Like, I feel good, you know, I had a few liters of water with some electrolytes, but I haven't really eaten a ton of food today. I mainly just fucking slept all day, trying to, you know, catch up from all the fucking traveling. So even though I know I'm going to have a good pump, and I feel pretty strong, if you can tell your sleep has been pretty scrappy and you're not really well fed and hydrated, it's probably in your best interest to maybe not, you know, try to bench as fucking heavy as you can, or like try to curl the fucking 80s or the 85s, or like do push downs with an absolutely insane amount of weight. So today may be a little bit of a lighter day. Not that, you know, the sets are going to be easy or anything. I'm still going to go hard. But instead of trying to curl the 80s for like 8 and really fucking just put as much physical tension on my biceps as I can fucking muster, maybe I'll just stick to the 60s or the 50s, squeeze extra hard, you know, stick on the lighter squeezing side of the spectrum. Which, not that I think that's too much worse or anything. I definitely can tell I lean towards doing a lot more heavy sets, just because for me, I've always found, you know, on my heavier lifts, like not heavier lifts, but on the lifts where I do heavier sets, and I really do a lot of like fucking what feels to me like muscular damage, I do a lot of work, I always finish with a pretty good pump. But whenever I have to back off on the weight, or if I just want to change it up by doing a lighter day and really focusing on squeezing, making the reps very, you know, let's just say methodical, like really kind of holding it, going down pretty slow, I still get a pretty fucking good pump then. So what that leads me to believe is it's not like one style is so much better than the other for muscle growth. I mean, there's fucking Olympia guys who train insanely heavy and hard, and guys who train a little bit lighter, still hard, of course, and they're both fucking jacked, you know? So the conclusion that leads me to is just fucking go hard no matter what, you know? So I think if you can go heavy on a movement, then I would try to go reasonably heavy, you know? Like, for me, I can't do a 135-pound bench press and get a pump. It's just not enough weight. I do think you should stay within a range of working weight, which does, you know, push yourself strength-wise. But, you know, on the opposite side of that coin, it's good to do lighter sets of flies and stuff, really squeeze and kind of burn out in kind of a burning out kind of way, you know? Like, I can hit failure on a set of curls because, you know, I just physically can't do another rep. Like, it's almost as though my strength wears out first like with the 80s or something. I can't get another rep just by, having a fucking more badass attitude, because I just physically, there's no chance it's going to happen, And that's the same thing with squat and bench and really kind of heavy, mechanically loaded lifts. But when you do lifts that are a little bit lighter, maybe, or kind of more so, make challenging just because of how much they burn, those are sets where it's a little bit more of a mental battle, because if I'm on a curl machine and my biceps are on fucking fire and I'm like, oh, I could finish the set right now and I'd be satisfied. But I know I could probably get at least 5 or 6 more reps with a reasonable range of motion. That's where you kind of gotta, it's so cliche, but, sort of dig deep in a way. The more comfortable you can get with just fucking trying to make every set, just pushing as hard as you can and only ending it once you physically can't do anymore, I think you're going to have a much easier time, at least with the training aspect. Because if the slightest amount of discomfort in a set makes you want to rack the weight, fuck, man. Let's just say don't expect to make massive gains. That's all I got to say right there. But arms, same as normal. There's no crazy way to go about it. Definitely just going to be a combination of push downs, dips, maybe skull crushers, and then all sorts of different curls. Probably some. So I say that, but there is one more variation for biceps I like, and that's the bicep biased pull down, where you're on like a cable or like a lat pull down sort of machine, underhand, reasonably close grip, and instead of pulling with your lats, you kind of just put all of the tension of the cable into your biceps. So that, even though it is basically a curl, it is slightly different, but I like that a lot too. I'm sure I'll add some of those in. But fast forward 1 hour from now, I'm sure my arms will be swollen to all hell. Hopefully a little bit veiny, but who's to say? So it doesn't look too packed either. Let's just get in there, have a good arm day, and get used to the regular schedule again. All right, so instead of a typical heavy just double arm push down, I think I'll start with single arm and actually just fucking focus on squeezing. I'll even go a little bit lighter. Like, the point of this set is not necessarily to move around as much weight as possible. I'm just trying to burn out. And partially, that is just because I don't want to go too heavy. I know for a fact, tendon-wise, I'm probably a little bit weaker than normal. Like, I feel like half the time people rip their shit is when they're just underslept, underfed, and underhydrated. Not that I'm worried about ripping my shit right now, but you get the gist. No. Okay. One more. Okay. You know, one thing I like about the single arm pushdowns, you don't get any chest activation. Just like whenever I do double arm with a straight bar, even the rope a little, once my triceps give out, I kind of start using my chest to push the weight down, which in terms of force reps, I guess I don't mind. But I'm not here to hit chest, I just want to flex my triceps. So something about doing one arm and your chest just can't help. A few more. Okay. One more. Okay. Okay. Let's do some dips. Machine, of course. I can do the stack here, but just because it's a weight that's within reason. So with these, same style as the single arm pushdowns, I will try to hold it at the bottom, at least while I'm strong. Come on. Ugh. No. Okay. Oh, fuck. I gotta go a little lighter on this next one. But same thing. And I think just one more and then I'm done. My triceps feel fully cooked. Well, nearly. Okay. Okay. Oh, fine. Ah. Time for curls. That was really good. Okay. 40s will be good. Okay. Okay, that wasn't necessarily the absolute muscular failure. That just started to fucking burn. I think I need a little more weight. That might be a little too light. One more like that. You can kind of do a little bit of a mechanical drop set if you can't get a typical dumbbell curl in rep wise. You can add some hammer curls. I'm usually not a huge fan because there's so much forearm engagement, but just a few burnout reps like that, I don't think it's going to make much difference. But let's move on. Biceps already feel pretty fucking rough. I don't foresee more than a few more sets. So usually I don't love any kind of fancy setup. Like the more moving pieces you have in a movement, I think you reach a point of just it being unnecessary. But I do like throwing a bench up next to the cables just to give myself a very specific angle. But right here, kind of sitting in a little bit of a side saddly way so I don't run into my own leg. I think some single arm cable curls should be nice. I could just do them standing. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's just a little easier to sit down. And if I want to get all technical, you got to think, if I'm standing up, I'm sending signals to my leg to keep me balanced and to my arm to fucking hold on to the upright, and I'm probably using more traps. Whereas if I sit, I'm in a pretty stable position. I don't have to think about holding myself down or anything. All I have to focus on is, so for the most part, if I had to kind of condense my approach to a lot of, let's just say, accessory movements, the less moving parts you have, the better. Like if you're doing cable press or something and you have to like keep yourself really balanced, or just the more often you can kind of keep most of your body rigid and have the only moving part be the active muscle, the better. So I think, fuck man, I'll see how it feels, but I might just do one set of these curls and call it there. I think it's a combination of being just systemically stressed from travel, but you gotta remember, there's no point in overworking a muscle. Like, if I were to sit here and try to do 12 sets of biceps, I don't think that's gonna be any more effective than these right now, because usually I do a little more volume, but my gauge for when I'm done with a workout is usually after I've done, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 or so. That's typical for me, sets, where I feel like they're all doing pretty good work, and at the end of it, I'm fully pumped. So it's kind of like it's not like a scientific set of little check marks that I check off, and then I say, okay, the lift is done. I've done 3 sets at RIR 6, and it's kind of just a feeling. Like, I know when I've done enough, and if I'm a little bit less, recovered per se, then that's going to be a little lower. Like, that's I think that's why in the last quad day I did at Dino's gym over in the UK, I only did like 3 sets, or no, I did like 4, but one of the sets was a crazy set of squats, and I was like, okay, quads are wrecked. But either way, after this set, I think I'll just be fully pumped. I'm gonna go check it out and go home and eat. I'm fucking hungry. Okay. Let's go check the pump. All right. I am currently in focus, in good lighting, and in a pumped state. So that's pretty much the big 3. Let's, what do you think? What's underneath this fucking 3XL hoodie? Is it a decent pump? Have I shrunk 3 sizes that day? Reverse Grinch mode? Or, I guess that's really the only 2 possibilities. But I don't know about you, but I know which one I'm going to put my money on. So let's find out. So this is what the sleeves really fucking look like. They fucking dangle below my arms. But whatever. It's kind of fun being covered up in a fucking massive hoodie like this. Whew. Well, it's kind of fun being covered up in general, and I will allude to why that is. So, whenever I'm lifting, unless I'm seriously cut down, usually I like to be covered up. But okay, wait, let's just pose down first before we get into a whole discussion here. Ooh, I mean, that certainly looks pretty fucking good. I mean, fuck, dude. I don't feel like I'm 250. I feel like I'm 280. Oof. Holy crap. Okay, well, looks like we had a perfect fucking thumbnail in exactly 1 second. Oh. All right, what else is there? So, like I was saying, I like being covered up for the lift itself. For one thing, because it's nice having something to kind of build up to and look forward to at the end of the lift. Right? I know if I really push it, then at the end, I'm going to look substantially bigger than I did in the beginning. And it's a little more of a drastic change because if I had this tank on the whole time, I could definitely tell I'm getting more and more pumped throughout the lift. But me unpumped, covered up, and then cutting to fully pumped, it's just much more drastic, you know. So I think that's kind of the reason why I like it. But also, I think looking at yourself mid-lift can be a little bit distracting in a way. Like, not all the time, of course. It's definitely cool to do a set of curls where you're watching your fucking bicep really fucking contract and peak and whatever, and you see all your forearm veins. Or you're doing chest flies in front of the mirror, and you can see like all your fibers coming out every rep. Like, I do like that, but I don't know. I think I kind of just like doing it by feel. But then again, that's just me. So whether you like lifting fucking shirtless, if your gym allows it, probably not, or, you know, covered up in a fucking massive hoodie, as long as you have a good lift, whatever. But for me, I like the pump check to be a pretty big reveal. So let's just hit one more double bicep and then get out of here. Oh my goodness. Sick. Let's roll. Okay. I'm gonna sleep very well tonight. Good lift. Not like extremely taxing on my system as a whole, because of course, you know, I wasn't doing bananas weight, and arms are a pretty small muscle. But yeah, I'm ready to catch some Z's, as it were. Catch some Z's and take down some fucking calories. It's oh my goodness. It'll be nice to actually have some food for real. And by for real, I mean like food that I specifically make and like want to eat. Because I haven't really like, we've been at hotels this whole fucking time. I haven't made a pan-fried steak or anything. Yeah, this morning was good. I had a big fucking breakfast. I should have had some carbs though too. I bet that would have made the pump even crazier. But it was just 11 whole eggs. And little tip, if you don't like eating scrambled whole eggs, because for me what'll happen is if I just cook the whole thing at once, the yolk gets really dry. Like if I do scrambled eggs and the yolk is totally like cooked through, then they get real dry. It just is no fun to eat. So my I don't want to say my method because I've heard this before, but what I like doing is I pretty much cook the whites completely. Like I cracked in the 11 egg whites, put the 11 yolks in a bowl, cook the eggs all the way through, the whites, you know, kind of scramble them up a little. And once they were just about done, then throw the yolks in, stir it around for a little bit. So the whites are totally cooked and they're not, you know, gooey or runny or anything. And I just kind of get to the point where the yolks are getting a little bit more solid, but they're still kind of, you know, half liquid or so. That's my preferred method for sure. So, oh man, that would have been perfect with toast, dude. I love it. I don't know why I stopped doing it. I used to just straight up have breakfast all the fucking time. Big ass bowl of egg whites, either whites or with yolks. And then like, I'd make like 8 pieces of toast and just slather them in butter. Then a little Tabasco too. I feel like I'm just describing the meal I'm gonna have when I get home. It's now I've got it on my fucking mind. But yeah, and then I added a bunch of cheese, like shredded cheddar, some onions, and some salsa. It just disappeared. And then as soon as I had a full belly, I went back to sleep at 9. And I didn't wake up till 6. So I slept from midnight to 8, had a meal, and then back to fucking sleep all day. So as long as I can go to sleep at a reasonable hour tonight, it's 9:30 now, so hopefully before midnight or so, my sleep schedule should be back on point. And not only is that important just for being a regular fucking dude and being able to show up to stuff on time and, you know, have a normal schedule, but in a bulking context, which is the part that really matters, if you don't wake up early, fuck man, you're gonna have a harder time getting your meals in. Because you gotta remember, if you're eating like 4,000 calories or X amount of calories that you need to actually gain weight per day, and you get to like noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you've only had like 1,000 calories, then you're pretty much eating a full day's of food in the second half of the day. It's so much easier to have a huge breakfast. Usually I like mine to be at least 1,500 calories or so worth. And then, you know, it's fucking 7, 8 in the morning, and I'm already like a quarter of the way through my daily calories. So the rest of the meals I can make a little bit more smaller and kind of spread them out a little better. But if I have a really big breakfast, that's when I have the best time not having to force food down. Because if you've ever been in a legit bulk, I'm sure you've kind of run into this dilemma where what'll happen is like it's 9 o'clock at night, you still got 2,000 calories or so to eat, and you just had a bunch of calories earlier because you didn't start eating soon enough. And then you have to stay up later to get your meals in. It cuts into your sleep. You wake up later than you would have liked to. You don't have as much time for a big breakfast. You have to go do your shit. And then you start eating late again the next day, and it's just a fucking spiral. So if that's you, it may be in your best interest, this is at least what I've kind of found, to just fix the sleep schedule first, rather than try to play catch up with your calories. Because if you have a fucked up day, you only got like 2,000 calories, it's 9 o'clock at night, you're tired, you're ready for bed, I think it may be a better move. And I'm not saying this for sure. Of course, if you could eat 3,000 calories right then and then go to bed at a reasonable hour, then do that. But if you know you're going to have to stay up till like 1 or so, because you just can't, I don't want to say can't, but you have a lot of trouble getting those, few extra 1,000 calories in, and it's going to fuck up your sleep schedule, I think it's better to just get back on track, wake up early, and then start eating then. So that's that's always been my approach as of late. Of course, I kind of had to learn that because I've gone through that cycle of playing catch up calorie wise for like weeks. Well, not weeks, but for like a week on end a few times. And it's just a huge fucking hassle. I'd rather miss a few thousand calories one day and get back on track the next day than be like constantly behind and trying to you get what I'm saying there. At least if you've tried bulking up seriously before. But yeah, arms fucking. I mean, I definitely did not look 10 pounds lighter, that's for sure. And then that's like a 250 pounder, 260 pounder. To drop 10 pounds, it's just not as crazy. Because you got to remember, the larger you are, 10 pounds becomes a smaller percentage of your fucking body weight. If you're 150 pounds and you woke up 10 pounds lighter than you were like a week ago, you're probably going to notice it because that's going to be a bigger difference. You're going to be like nearly 10% or like 8 or so percent lighter than you were before. Whereas, for me now, I'm like fucking, what's 10 pounds to a 260 pounder? Like 4%? Only like a 4% size fluctuation. So that's nice too. I wonder if I'm a little bit leaner because I was definitely not eating in a calorie surplus that whole trip. So you can say whatever you want, but you can start burning body fat reasonably quickly in a deficit. Because typically what'll happen is you jump down from your full carbed up state to running a little bit lower. And how I think about it, and I think this is about right. I'm sure dietitians may disagree potentially, but when you have a ton of fucking muscle glycogen, right? Your muscles are full of sugar water because you're eating a lot of food. That's the primary source of energy that your body's going to be running on just to fucking live, Sugar is far easier to break down into like ATP and all sorts of other shit than fat is, Fat's just a little bit trickier to break down and what's the word? Oxidize? I don't know, whatever. So your body's going to run through its carb source first. So let's say for like 3 days straight, you have like zilch for carbs. You only have like 100 grams of carbs or something per day. I definitely had more than that, but let's just follow this hypothetical. If you're only eating that many carbs a day, you're going to empty out your fuel tanks and all your muscles with all your, muscle glycogen, your muscle sugar water. And once you're pretty much empty, right, you're much lower and you don't have so much sugar in your fucking body to run on, then your body's going to jump to your second easiest fuel source, apart from just the food that you're eating, is, your body fat. So that's why I don't mind a really steep jump into a deficit because I know I'm not really going to start burning body fat until my body is kind of, running on empty carb-wise. Right? You've got two fucking fuel tanks, energy-wise, carbs and fats. Eventually, you'll start breaking down protein for energy, but you've got to be you got to be at a steep deficit. Let's just say that, like real steep. So once that carb tank is pretty fucking low, close to empty, of course not at zero, but low, then, second best option, start burning fat. I don't think that's the case. I think I'm just a little bit dehydrated, which may make me a little drier. I'm not holding as much water, but I definitely felt pretty fucking lean posing down right there. But then again, my arms they're just pretty lean in general. I don't have most of my body fat goes straight to my lower back, sides, and my butt, and my stomach a little. That's typically where I got it the most, which is kind of a typical state for dudes. So if you're the unfortunate character who has a lot of fat in their arms, fuck. Just use it to your advantage and get them to 20 inches a little bit quicker than the rest of us. So play now, eat a ton of fucking food, get a ton of fucking sleep, drink a ton of effing water. I'll stop dropping F-bombs. And then repeat. So tomorrow is just going to be hamstrings. I'll throw calves in as well. Maybe probably some adductors too. Reasonably chill day. And then what's next? Chest? Or I don't remember. We'll see. My split's kind of thrown off from all the traveling and whatever else. But no matter what it is, I'm sure it'll be a good lift. So I will see you tomorrow for that.